Hi guys, my name is John Nieves and today we will be talking about the most ultra of ultras, the Xiaomi 14 Ultras. Parang ang dami kong sinabing ultra. Pero sa totoo lang, ito yung probably the best flagship I've tested so far this year. Ang ganda niya. And ang lungkot ko talaga na parang as it is right now, as we are making this video, Xiaomi is not going to be making it available in the Philippine market. We'll talk about more about that later. Pero for now, we'll be talking about what makes it good, what makes it bad, and some of my first impressions with the device. So Xiaomi makes really high-end flagship smartphones every year, pero if you've been following what they've been doing through the years, you can really see that the 14 Ultra is really the top of their game. Ang ganda niya tingnan, ang ganda niya hawakan. The vegan leather back feels really premium. Talagang nasa same level na sila as far as building a phone and making the phone feel like a flagship. Talagang ang ganda ng features, ang ganda ng katawan ng phone na to. Siguro yung pinaka-ago tingin sa whole design ng Xiaomi 14 Ultra is the gigantic Leica branded camera module sa likod. Yung buong camera assembly ng Xiaomi 14 Ultra is nakausli even more than what is on the Xiaomi 14. Pag tinignan mo yung Xiaomi 14, medyo makapal na yung camera array niya. Pero talaga, pag tinapat mo sa Xiaomi 14 Ultra, grabe, nakalabas talaga yung camera module ng 14 Ultra. So medyo kailangan mo na talaga pag-isipan kung saan mo nilalagay yung telepono mo pag nasa table or kung nasa labas ka. Kasi baka sa sobrang laki ng camera module, pwede mo siyang ilagay sa part na pwede siyang magasgasan, sa mga mabato. So, kailangan mo talaga mag-ingat pagdating doon. Pero yung overall design ng Xiaomi 14 Ultra, Xiaomi really made it look like a Leica camera from the looks of the back of the vegan leather to the frame on the side and even yung bezel dun sa nakasurround sa camera module. Feeling mo talaga parang may Leica phone ka na hawak sa kamay, which is basically the point of the partnership between Leica and Xiaomi. One of the reasons kung bakit ganun kalaki yung camera module ng 14 Ultra is because of the 450 megapixel cameras at the rear. Now, the main camera is a refined 1-inch sensor that has a variable aperture lens. So basically, may physical apertures ang 14 Ultra na nagsasara at bumubukas depending on what you need when you're taking photos. So usually, when you take photos, it's on automatic. Bahala na yung camera to do and choose what aperture you need depending on the lighting situation. But there is also a pro mode where you can set what aperture you need for what shooting condition you are in. Isa sa mga gusto ko talaga dito sa 14 Ultra is meron siyang dalawang telephoto lens. The first one is a 50 megapixel f1.8 75mm telephoto lens, and the other one is another 50 megapixel sensor with an f2.5 120mm periscope telephoto lens. So maganda dito sa dual telephoto lens setup ng Xiaomi. So the 75mm you can use for really portrait shots. It's good for kung kukuha ka ng isang particular image na medyo malayo tapos medyo gusto mong kunan na mas malapit na hindi ka physically lalapit. Pero its primary use is really taking really good portrait shots because mababa nga yung aperture niya, so meron kang magandang bokeh sa likod pag kumukuha ka ng portrait shots. So yung 120mm lens na to is really good for taking photos of farther subjects. If you are somebody who likes going to concerts, this is going to come in handy kasi nga mas malayo yung kaya niyang kunan and yung f-stop niya mas mababa, so kahit madilim, kaya niya pa rin kumuha ng maraming light and kaya niya i-process yung light na yun into a usable photo for social media. So unfortunately, we did not have the Xiaomi 14 Ultra for that long. Medyo maikli lang yung binigay sa amin ng Xiaomi to use the 14 Ultra. So this isn't really going to be diving into the really good camera features of the 14 Ultra. Feeling ko talaga that deserves a separate review so you guys can appreciate it. Alam mo yung isa ring maganda dito sa phone na to is yung display niya. Talagang top of the line flagship display. You're looking at a 6.73-inch LTPO AMOLED panel, 120Hz refresh rate, Dolby Vision HDR10+, plus a 3000 nit peak brightness. So kitang-kita mo talaga siya kahit mataas ang araw or kahit maliwanag ang paligid mo. Ang isa pa maganda dito is 1440p yung resolution niya, which makes it a really good phone to use if you really like watching videos or your favorite K-pop stars in really high definition. Ang ganda ng display niya. Dahil flagship phone ang Xiaomi 14 Ultra, flagship hardware din ang nasa loob niya. So you're looking at a Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 processor, and it will come at least in global markets with a number of configurations in both RAM and storage. And like the Xiaomi 14, it will come with Android 14 and HyperOS, yung sariling OS ni Xiaomi. So wala na ang MIUI for this particular phone. Pagdating sa performance, wala talaga yung kahit anong apps na tapon mo dito. Yung global version na pinahiram sa amin ng Xiaomi Philippines, walang problem, walang slowdown, walang issues. It could get through Genshin Impact. Any game that you can think of, you can crank the graphics up to maximum. Walang problem, walang lags. There is a little bit of heat buildup, pero not enough to worry you even if you are playing tuloy-tuloy. Hindi siya problem. Pagdating sa battery, the Xiaomi 14 Ultra has a 5000 mAh battery. That is 300 mAh less than the Chinese version. I don't know where that 300 mAh went. Who knows? Pero it has a 5000 mAh battery, 90 watt fast charging for wired, and 80 watt fast wireless charging. Now, obviously, kailangan mo maghanap ng wireless charger that goes up that high, pero that is pretty impressive for wireless charging. It can also do 10 watts of reverse wireless charging, which makes it really good if you need to charge accessories like your earbuds or whatever on the fly. So, ang ganda-ganda ng Xiaomi 14 Ultra. Bakit hindi siya bebenta sa Pilipinas? Now, Xiaomi has issued a statement about this thing. I'm showing it here so you can read it. But personally, I think one of the reasons why they're not really selling the Xiaomi 14 Ultra in the Philippines is that their flagship phones really don't do well locally. Now, unfortunately, Xiaomi doesn't really show us a breakdown of sales numbers, especially for their flagship phones in the Philippines. Pero you can really see yung sentiment ng mga tao against higher end flagship prices for their products, even in some of the videos that we make. Even if objectively the Xiaomi 14 is really better than the Samsung Galaxy S24 as far as specs go, as far as what you're getting pagdating sa hardware, the storage, the RAM, and everything, people still think that paying 10,000 pesos less than Samsung Galaxy S24 is still unacceptable for a Xiaomi phone. A little unfair to Xiaomi, pero there really is still a feeling na pagdating sa Xiaomi, pag Xiaomi phone, hindi dapat lalampas ng price point. Kung 40,000 pesos siya, hindi na bibili ng mga tao. Dapat up until parang 30,000 pesos lang. Kasi anything over, super expensive na yun. And I think that negative perception of people for Xiaomi, for their flagship phones, really does hurt them in the long run. Especially pag tinitingnan ng HQ, yung mga territories kung saan bebenta yung mga flagship phones nila. Remember, the 14 Ultra is really expensive kasi presyo nila halos ang Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra. So, kung Xiaomi 14 pa lang, umaalma na yung mga tao sa presyo, paano pa pagdating sa 14 Ultra? But I think that consumer sentiment is changing. May kalalabas lang na report na number 2 na ang Xiaomi dito sa Pilipinas as far as sales for their phones goes. So, may chance pa na magbagong isip ng Xiaomi Global or Xiaomi HQ kung i-offer ang Xiaomi 14 Ultra dito sa Philippines. Especially since ang ganda ng performance ng Xiaomi Philippines team sa sales ng telepono nila last year. And I think Xiaomi talaga needs to sell the Xiaomi 14 Ultra dito sa Pilipinas kahit konting units lang. Kasi yung mga fans nila na gusto ng 14 Ultra, bibili at bibili yan ng 14 Ultra kahit anong mangyari. And usually, ang pupuntahan nila, pag hindi available sa Philippines officially, ay pupunta na sila sa gray market sellers. And honestly, hindi yun maganda para sa Xiaomi Philippines team kasi yung mga bibili nila ng phones sa China or sa Hong Kong, hindi makakount sa sales ng Xiaomi Philippines team. Even if Xiaomi product pa rin yung bibili nila. And that will further reinforce yung hindi magandang sales numbers ng Xiaomi Philippines when it comes to their flagship phones. And I really think that Xiaomi should bring the 14 Ultra here in the country, because I really want you guys to take a look at the 14 Ultra if it arrives here, if it's in their stores, if there are demo units that you can see and feel. Ang ganda niya talaga. The cameras are really good. And I think it's one of the best Ultra phones or Ultra branded phones that you can get so far this year. Pero kung wala ka rin naman budget for an Ultra, maybe you can just buy the Xiaomi 14. It's currently my daily driver and it's a very good phone. So it has a lot of the same technologies that are on the 14 Ultra. So kung wala kang budget for that and hindi mo siya mahintay, ito na lang yung bilhin mo. So that's pretty much it for me. Thank you very much, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.